and 2 here. Okay, so today we're gonna talk about Heroku, and we're gonna do something different today. Everyone keep their computers out, and you can listen to me talk while we go through this together. So everyone go to Heroku.com, and we're gonna set up a Heroku account, and then we're going to push up a Rails project and spin it up and see if we can put our Rails projects online. So you see, some of you already have Heroku accounts. Let's see. But let's sign up together. There's a bridge in here. Wow. There is no bridge in here. So some of you might be looking to web scraping for your personal projects, and CAPTCHA is the bane of web scrapers. So web scraping is when there's a gem I suggested to someone. Let me see. It's when you just load the page, like let's say this page, and you use some kind of gem or command line command to get all the HTML of this request that we're making. And then I can say, oh, I want this text. Whatever Heroku has here, I want to use it. Or maybe for Google search or something. And you just manually collect data. But it's very fragile because the moment they change the formatting or the styling of their website, then your scraper is broken. Oh, I need to confirm. I'm having trouble putting in this password. Has everyone got an account yet? Not you? Okay.
I do.
Yay, okay. I'm just gonna not.
Yeah, I just do.
I have one already. I don't need another one. Okay. So let's a dashboard. This is a dashboard, right? Let's go to new, create a new app. Do we have, let's say, the app name? So first, what I want you to do is find whether it's your personal Rails project or not, we can find some classwork that we've done and spin it up locally and see if it runs locally. when you have your database and your localhost set up. So for me, I'm going to do that with the public art thing. Let's see.
What's
Heroku. Heroku is this nice website. It's owned by Salesforce. It's worth a lot of money because the the um, the thing is that companies actually use it to host their actual websites, and when you have a lot of volume, you start paying for services, and they make money that way. But they also give you this service for free if you don't have a lot of traffic. So it's kind of nice that they let you do that. The alternative is more difficult because you can use servers like Amazon Web Services, but that's very difficult for beginners to do. So usually you have like a team of people working on that, and it's good if you have experience with it. It's a major selling point if you can work with AWS. But it's even, I mean, Heroku might not be like a selling point, but it's definitely not a bad thing, and you kind of need it to show someone your app because you can't just carry around your laptop everywhere and let people see it that way. Mhm. Okay, let me see.
So yeah, I got an account going here. I'm trying to log in from the command line prompt. Is that what we're trying to do here, or just
We can do that. I think that's maybe the next step. So you just create an account?
Yeah. So but I'm having a hard time logging in.
So can we log in on the website?
So,
Igor, did you choose an app to?
oh, when they say username, they want that username or the email.
It looks like you're signed in. Can you say new? So, yeah, in the create new app, so dashboard.heroku.com/new app. And I'm gonna call mine public. And you can call your app name whatever you want. Something, whatever, probably. Okay. And then we're gonna create this app. So here's the step where they'll step-by-step let you know the commands you need to put in to install your Heroku CLI. And these commands, this one, what do you think this one does?
Switches from local to remote.
Okay, so when you have Git, let's see, I'm gonna do this. So I already did all this, it's a Git repository. I'm gonna copy this line in.
Oh, you create a remote repository.
It's still the same repository, but I'm adding a remote to it. So what is a remote? It's I think of it as just, it's a URL that points to a remote copy of the same repository. So when I say get remote v, now I see that I probably should have done it before I added it, but it said get remote Heroku to this URL. So how many remotes do I have right now? It looks like 4, right? But I see 2. I see Heroku, and I also see Origin. Origin means GitHub. So when I say git push origin mic, I am saying push this copy to this branch on this remote, which is GitHub. If I wanted to push this to Heroku, and I've never pushed to a branch on Heroku, but let's see.
Usually to master, right?
Yeah, I usually do it to master, so I'm going to check out master. Now, I think I might need to merge in my changes from Mike. Okay. Anyway, git push Heroku master.
What is it?
So everybody try and okay, so this might be a little ahead, but has everybody set up the command line interface through here?
I have, but I put it in the wrong repository. So I'm gonna do it again in the right repository. But yeah.
You put this line here in the wrong one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you email? And it doesn't work. Okay, well, we'll do that soon. What about you, Kimberly? Kimberly, you there?
I'm here.
Have you gotten to? Have you gotten to? Sorry, I have to let John in. Okay. Have you gotten to the point where you said git push Heroku master?
No, because I was in the bathroom, so I really don't know where you are.
Oh shoot. Okay, so what step are you at in making Heroku?
I'm at the part where it's asking me for an app name.
Ah, okay. So can you choose the name that fits a repo that?
So what goes in here? Is this something from like a path or is it just a name?
I went and made sure that this app is working because, I'm sure we've forgotten what's actually working, what's not, because we're fiddling around, right? So I went to an example from before that made sure that it's running locally. So
I
I
got
it's running locally, so ideally it should also run on their server, right?
Yeah, okay.
Of course, if it's broken locally, then it's probably going to break there too.
All right.
Okay, so when I push to master, to Heroku master, this showed up. Let's see, verifying deploy done. And I don't see any errors here, so that looks good.
Yeah, I need to do this. Yeah, I'm not.
Current password, new password. Oh, can you say update? Is it because you forgot your current password?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you need to reset your password through email. Shouldn't take too long. Hopefully, you have to wait on them sometimes. Yeah, so probably log out. Find a way to log out. Ah, there it is. Click on it. Oh, you good? Okay. So let's see what's next. This app, I think there's a button up here and it says open app. So I'm gonna click on it. Open the new tab. Uh-oh. So this is interesting, right? Public Art Chicago, which is the name that I gave it. .herokuapp.com user sign in. So I didn't go to the home page. It redirected me to user sign in. So that's something that we know was a part of the functionality of our Rails app with the device. But something went wrong and we don't know what it is. So it says, if you're the application owner, check the logs. So we check the logs here by saying Heroku logs. And we get the log of what happened. So I'm gonna pretty much scroll until I see something that says fail. Get path sign in. So that was good, right? Maybe I missed it. This might be not the right command. Anyway, this is confusing. I know what the problem is, but I thought usually when I look at Heroku logs, it tells me what the problem was somewhere. Select. Oh, well, that makes sense. Oh, there it is. F, fail, fail, fatal, fatal.
You don't have your database.
Yes. So the problem is that I never set up my database. This is kind of a different error than we see locally, but we do see this error locally when we try to run a database or run a server without creating the database. So I could Google what the command is, but I think I know. Let's see. Oh, what is this? So I got the command C out of that. Let's see. I'm gonna say Heroku run, and then after I say Heroku run, it's kind of like I'm in Rails, and I say Rails DB, or I can say bundle exec, but let's see, Rails DB migrate, or I'm gonna say create. I think you can also run a migrate without using the Rails command, but I forget exactly what the syntax is. That looks like a blow-up. Permission denied. Huh. User doesn't have connect privilege. I'm a little confused on what that means. I'm gonna try this. So they're running bash. Uh-oh. Okay, so it did run that command, but it didn't know what it was. So let me look it up.
You have to put Rails in front of migrate.
Maybe. Yeah. So I don't usually run create. I usually just run migrate. But I guess that is the wrong syntax, and I do need to say Heroku. Oops. So I don't have permission to create, but maybe it's already created. But this looks much better. All this SQL. I love seeing SQL. Not writing it, but seeing it. Let's see.
I didn't know what to migrate? Is there like a default table?
Migrate into? Okay. So did everybody hear that? The database was already created when we pushed it up to Heroku, they did us the favor of creating this database. However, they didn't run migrate, and when we ran migrate, it looked into the DB folder and ran all our migrations. So at this point, no, this is locally. I'm just gonna kill it, and I'm gonna refresh this. And it works. So this is online. That's as almost as painful as Heroku gets, but there's one little trick, I guess. So now this is in production. You would call this in production. And remember when we had all those things in our file or in our directories that specified test, production, and development modes? This is now running in development mode. If we go and look at our files, in our gem file, we'll see this is for group development and tests, and this is for group development. That means that none of the gems in here are installed on our Heroku server. And same with our API keys that we were looking at earlier. Where's that? Config secrets.yaml. So this is what's being used, and these get ignored. And the thing,
Aren't they all the same anyway?
yeah, they're the same here, but
Okay.
they won't be if this is a serious website. So one thing is that, as developers and, when you're first writing an app, we like to drop and create the database a lot, right? And it's just easier. That's not as much of an option now because this is now production and we theoretically care about the data that's in here. So it's going to give us trouble when we try and drop the database. Kind of like when we say create there. And there is a command for when that happens, because it will, I'm sure, to you guys. And oh, no, it might be this, but I'll just Slack it to you guys later.
Saying in the event that, like, last resort, we have to.
Not even last resort, but like if you end up in your development in your workflow, sometimes we get lazy and we want to change this file, right? This old migration, and this is already on Heroku. So let's say, oh, I want this, right?
Yeah.
And then I can just go locally and then drop and create it, and then everything's hunky-dory, right? That's gonna blow up Heroku and because we have to do it the proper way of making a new migration with a new timestamp, add column to locations if we don't want Heroku to blow up. If we push this up, it's not just going to automatically create a new database for us. It has this data already in it, and it's not going to want to let it go. It's not, and you don't want it to. You don't want to be able to do that by accident and delete all your data. So, but as you're developing, since we like to to do this, and we should, because we don't want 50 migrations for our minimum viable product for this app, right? And when you go to Heroku and push this new migration up, and it's not a new migration, it's the old migration but changed. You're gonna have to restart Postgres on Heroku for it to, and then migrate again because it's not gonna be happy. I have it written down somewhere, but I'm not comfortable like just. I want to show it to you guys. See. Okay, so yeah, so it's good. It's this one. You run Roku PG reset and then your database name. Oh wait, no, need to change it. Okay, so that will work. And then here is where you have to type in the name. Don't do this one-liner. do each line separately, and then it'll ask you to confirm the app name. It'll be like, "Are you sure? You want to delete all your data?" And you'll say, "Yeah, I don't care." And then
That's kind of like the YOLO
yeah, this is the YOLO
of Heroku.
of Heroku, which you're gonna do. You're gonna do this. Okay, and that's Heroku. If you have any problems going further, just Slack me, and I'll help you out. But we're gonna move on from Heroku and go on to talking about CI. So CI stands for continuous integration, and that means that tests run for you. Basically, it's just automatic testing for your app, so that every time you make a branch on GitHub, you can hook it up. This is what it looks like for this website. It's called codeship.com. Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. My bad. So codeship.com, and you might as well make a new account here too. You can start the CI.
What's CodeShip again?
CodeShip is just one website, one company that does continuous integration. You can use any that you like, but we're just gonna use this one just because I know it works. But CI is them running tests on your code on their server. So it's nice that they do this for free, and they just get a copy of your code and a copy of your test every time you make a push, and then they run it. And if it fails, it'll let you know before you merge it into your master branch. So when we go onto GitHub and we post, oh, I want to make this change, I want to add this feature, we don't want it to, we want it to pass the test, right? We want to know that the website isn't crashing without having to manually do it and without even having to run the test on our own computer. So this will run the test for us, and when we have a push request, it's going to show up like red and green. You can link it to GitHub. But I was going to go to github.com. I don't know.
Is there a specific language that tests it? Or is it just their own language?
You can it'll work with this language, but I'm sure you have to figure out which ones they can do and which ones they can't. If it's some really weird one, then you probably have to, make your AWS set up your own server to do the work. But so here we see build passing for Rails. This is Rails using the continuous integration to show people whether it's passing or not. You don't want to go to a repository and try and clone it and see that it's failing. At that point, you want to know it's working. So this you can put on your website. There's like a handy link that you can copy and paste from CodeShip or wherever is providing this service, and they'll let you know and let everyone who might want to download your product know that it's passing. So not only is it convenient for you, it's good for advertising. And if you have something like this on your personal project, people will be like, oh, they're on top of their game, right? So this is what it looks like. Let's see, not this. In like a workflow, this was our final project. So this is Matt. Some of you have met him. He made a commit in the something branch. And this is the shot of the commit, and it passed. So this is great. Most of these are passing. Hopefully, we're running our tests as we go, but sometimes, we're trying to get something to work in production and changing things and pushing it up, and we might not run the tests before we push it up, up to GitHub. Thankfully, there's more. There are times when CI will catch failures for you. And you can see, imagine if we ran the test this many times on our machines, how long that would have taken. But you can see like, this was a change that we put in. And I was gonna have, this was something that I wanted to put up, I didn't run the test locally, but thankfully it caught, the app crashing before I put it into the main, into master.
Show what the error shows.
Okay. Yeah. So the nice thing is project settings. No, I didn't, but so you can let it know what commands you want to use to start it up. So things like this, we're really used to seeing, right? RMRF. Uh-oh, what's that? sometimes you have to tweak it to get it to work right. This is because we were trying to integrate React and Node, and the Webpack and Yarn are things that you see when you work with Node. And this is the final command, or this is the command that it broke on. So run these tests. We can run both tests on Node and on Rails. We can run tests, and if they fail, which it gives you this, wow, a lot of warnings. This was our failure. Oh no, this is yellow. Exit. Okay, red. Controller spec, lessons controller, get index. So when a user is logged in and creates a lesson, yeah. So we can see exactly what page it broke on, and then if I had gone onto that page and looked at it, I would have seen that it was broken. But I didn't before I pushed it up to GitHub. But this caught it and let us know.
Why can't you just run RSpec before you push that up?
I can run
Locally,
Yeah, I can run RSpec locally before I push it up. But again, look at how many that there were. There's hundreds. Like each commit on every branch. These would have taken a long time to run. And it's nice it's kind of just it automates it for you. And it's online, you can see it. It'll hook up to GitHub, and it'll on each branch on GitHub, it'll be red or green. So it'll tell you, it's just way easier than once you get it set up. You should try setting it up now. But it's much better than running every test locally each time, because that'll take a long time if you're in a rush, especially. That's Heroku and CI. Sharif, Kimberly, did you get Heroku set up?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I got it set up. I've got to mess with it a little bit, but I mean, I have it now.
And your app is online?
I don't think so. Not quite there yet, but I got to mess with it. But
You want to share your screen?
what's the point of Heroku?
The point of Heroku is that without running my app on some server, it lets you, because we don't have a server, like you'd have to set up a computer at home to be your server. And no one has time for that. We use other people's servers so that they can be the local host. So normally we run up our websites and we have to go to localhost.
Right.
But if I want to show off this website to a recruiter or to anybody, unless I want to show it to them as a GitHub repo, which they can't see if it works unless they clone it and run it themselves. This is a way to say, okay, here's the website I made. You can look at it working and play with it. And
okay, I get it.
And let's say your website's awesome and it goes viral. Like this is how it gets on the internet on Heroku. It's not.
Is there some benefit to using Heroku versus like GitHub Pages?
Okay, so GitHub Pages serves like a static website without a database. It just serves like a directory of HTML files and JavaScript.
Okay, so we're gonna keep messing with Heroku even when we get to React next week.
Yes, you're gonna. So I want you to just start using Heroku for everything. Whenever you make an app, it gets harder and harder to put the app on Heroku as your app grows, because you'll find that you'll make changes to your app and then it won't work on Heroku even though it's working locally, and you have to figure out why. But as your app grows, there'll be more and more of these problems accumulated, and if you deploy too late, you're gonna have to go through those problems, and that's much harder.
Got it. Okay.
One by one, yeah.
Recommend making multiple commits and pushes as you add features.
Yeah, the best thing would be pushing to GitHub, but often, but also every now and then pushing Heroku master and seeing if it's working on Heroku. Because the CLI, I don't think it does that for you. Or the CI. I mean.
If you made changes to your database, you have to do that reset.
Yeah, if you make change, you can change your database the proper way with a new migration. But if you change your old migration, you will have to lose all your data that's on Heroku and reset that database.
you Slack that to us? That reset?
Yeah, sure. Too long. This one looks good to me. I'm just gonna try doing it. Let's see if it works. Where's my terminal? I closed it. But you're free to go now. I'm just testing it before I send it to you guys.
Okay. Take it easy, Big Mike.
Oh, John has
Wait,
something to say.
main thing for everybody here is Circle, CI, and Heroku and stuff like that. We want to use these types of technologies in our individual projects and our final projects. Heroku is built on top of AWS, which it basically, Heroku uses AWS servers to simplify the process of AWS because AWS sucks. So, but AWS is much cheaper and much faster, but it's hard to deal with. Like you have to get certifications and things like that. Heroku is basically, how do I get my app from my computer onto the web where anyone can get it? Like Mike said, localhost doesn't work everywhere. Localhost only works on your particular machine. Localhost is local to your computer. So I want to have a URL that I can hit in order for everyone to be able to use my website. So deploying to Heroku is actually not even like it's a necessity for your project and for your final project so that other people can use it. On top of that, people really like to see CI, or they like to know what CI is. Like they like to know that you know what CI is, certain continuous integration. They like to see that little badge that says like the build is passing. You can use CodeShip. There's another one called Travis. There's one called Circle. There's no shortage of continuous integration vendors, and they should all be free for these small little projects. So for everybody here, I want to make sure that you have Heroku and you have continuous integration set up with your personal app and your final project. So if you need to spend some time doing that today, I'd highly recommend it because I would like to see Aaron's app on aaronsapp.herokuapp.com or something. I wanted to be able to see it and like be able to give feedback rather than like saying, let me clone it down, let me bundle install, let me do all this stuff. I just want to go to the website. That's what I'd recommend everyone to tackle today.
Do it now. I'll help you.